Welcome back, everyone, to the Placement Loop podcast, where we take a deep dive on the entrepreneurship journey when it comes to staffing, recruiting, or even consulting businesses. And if you're running one of those kinds of businesses, wherever you're at, this podcast is here to help you overcome any kind of road bumps in the highways of entrepreneurship, right? Whether the problem is small, that's just kind of annoying, or the problem is big to a point where you feel like you're going to lose the company. We want to share those insights to be able to help solve those problems from actual folks who have solved these problems. And here with me today is our wonderful Carrie Nelson. All right, how you doing, Carrie?
Hello, everyone.
Excellent. And she runs ANOVA Resources, which is an HR consulting firm, specifically in what kind of niche as well within that?
We handle everything, all HR consulting services for all across the country.
Awesome. Perfect. Carrie, tell me a little bit more about like kind of your upbringing, your background, and how did you fall into eventually land to opening up ANOVA Resources?
Yeah, it's funny you said upbringing because my mom was in human resources and would
Nice.
regale us around the table at dinner time with stories. And I had the luxury of knowing my whole adult life that that's what I wanted to do. It was nice to go into college knowing what I wanted to major in, what I wanted to focus on. So I did a lot of college. I got a
Hmm.
bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and a Ph.D. My Ph.D. is in industrial organizational psychology. And I've worked in HR in all facets from recruiting to employee relations, eventually made my way up to a vice president of HR. And then I branched out, started my own company, and I'm a freelance consultant now with a team under me.
Nice. And how long has ANOVA been open for and operating for?
4 years now. I did
Okay.
do it earlier in my career too when I was in college. I have to say, when I was in college and I did it, it was a little bit lonely because we didn't have Zooms like we have now. We didn't
Yeah.
have online meetings. I was home alone a lot. Now that I have this, I feel like I'm with people every day. I meet with my clients regularly. So I love it.
So when you started the company, essentially, like what was that turning point? Like what did you feel was like, I feel like I actually do this on my own. Like what was that kind of scenery like?
I actually love this story. I tell it all the time. Cocktail parties, meet new friends. I was a VP of HR, and we just had a slow couple of months where projects were put on hold. And I was bored. We had to go to work every day, but projects were on hold. So I created an account on Upwork,
Nice.
upwork.com,
Oh yeah, I
project
know
work.
that. Hmm.
I was in New Hampshire at the time, but someone in Florida needed an employee handbook. So that I can look up the Florida laws and create a handbook. The first time you do Upwork, you lower your price a lot. That's what I recommend to people. I actually watched a few YouTube videos to learn. I gave a
Hmm.
very low price, created a handbook, asked for a review, and this wonderful person wrote a very lengthy review for my profile. And it was finished. I finished within a week. And I thought, oh, this is amazing. Maybe one day, if I create a business plan and work really hard, work nights, one day this can grow into a full-time business. I don't know, 2 years, 3 years. In the meantime, I let my link, my Upwork profile stay up.
Yeah. Hmm.
Within 90 days of me opening my profile, 90 days, I had to quit my job.
No
I had
way.
so many clients through Upwork from that one fabulous person creating one review. And
Hmm.
it was luck. I was in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
And I absolutely loved it. I have clients all over the country from everything from healthcare, manufacturing, construction, a college, a jewelry designer. And
Hmm.
it's so much fun. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
That's awesome. So you, and that kind of hones in on when it comes to testimonials and reviews. You took the appropriate path when it comes to entrepreneurship, really. Just and Upwork is a nice starting point for a lot of folks, right? The freelancer, you also do freelance.com or even Fiverr to some aspects, right? Starting out with that and just deliver something, right? That another person sees so much value, and only in return with that small costs that they have to spend is just 5 minutes. to leave a testimonial. And that always ends up being the main driver when it comes to credibility, authority, and even trust. So when you have one good, obviously more the merrier, but with one, as you've proven, right, that started scaling fast. Very
Yes,
fast.
clients don't realize how important that is too. I have had many clients since then not leave reviews. They go, she doesn't need one.
I was like, no
That,
way. Yeah.
but no, it's
Capture.
very important. And it drives the algorithm within
Yep.
programs like Upwork.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yes. And for me, what I did was it often starts with a handbook or a template offer letter. Hey, I'm hiring my first person. What do I put in an offer letter? But of course, it can grow from there.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Oh my God. Yeah, a lot of HR just in general, whether it's just the talent acquisition side, which is more my like background with staff recruiting, but more the compliance and onboarding, super critical, right? Onboarding is just as important as anything else. Typically, a poor onboarding experience can completely crush the point of view of what the candidate's looking at, right? Because they'll be like, all right, this is a terrible company because if the onboarding sucks, right? Um,
Absolutely. Or even if the
yeah.
manager's just too busy, it's not always that they hate it, but it's like, wow, everyone's too busy to show me how things really work. I'll just
Hmm.
do the way I know over here in this little corner,
Yep.
and they don't
Yep.
really learn,
Yep.
especially when you're remote.
Yeah, yeah. And that's man, when it came to building a culture and understanding specifics on the guardrails of how to build a culture. Because I used to run restaurants, right? And running restaurants of managing over 200 employees. It's a lot of people. And in restaurants, a lot of craziness happens. And HR is like the number, like you have to be an HR master running a restaurant appropriately. Otherwise, you're going to get canned yourself, right? And that was like my thing was like, I got to learn everything so I know exactly how to talk to people and to be able to get the results that we need, essentially, right? Without doing the wrong thing. Um,
I think
anyway,
in situations like that, that's where you can continually refine something like onboarding.
yes, exactly.
Everyone thinks
Hmm.
they have a good process, but there's all these loopholes people try to go through,
Hmm.
and you learn to refine, train,
Yep, yep.
it gets better and better. It really never ends. When a company is evolving.
Yes, yes, exactly. So you're doing a little bit of everything in HR, and it seems like you have a pretty broad spectrum of clients. The type of clients that you mesh the most well with, like it's easy contract, easy win. What does that client look like?
It's funny because I used to struggle with this, thinking, oh, I should focus on one area, maybe a certain industry or a certain company size. But really, what it is for me, it's usually the owner or the management team themselves. I want to work with nice people that really care about their company. I don't really just want to check a box off that, yeah, they're compliant and
Mm,
that's it. That's the minimum. That's all they want. I want someone who really wants a company to thrive and grow, is looking for the future. Those are the type of people that I mesh the best with, and tends to be a slam dunk, as you were saying.
yeah, 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 and that's and I honestly kind of folks that kind of think like you and act like you in a sense, right? I would say perspective that I see of you as well, right? Like you care about the business and you genuinely care about people. And that's huge, especially in HR, right? And when it comes to HR, there's folks that are in HR to where they're like the policeman and the authority figure. Then there's folks in HR to where like they're like your mom, right? Or like,
Yeah,
right?
they got to have balance.
Exactly, exactly, right? That side of HR to where, employees feel they can lean on, right? What is a confidential conversation? I think
Mhm.
super critical in a culture as well. Awesome. So where do you see the company at right now, the next 6 to 12 months? You're at 4 years in, and you've experienced plenty of seasons, right? The highs and the lows, and you've gotten your home run clients in your mind. Now, where do you see yourself in 6 to 12 months?
Well, AI is really reshaping the business. So one thing I'm learning about every day, every month, is how to use AI optimally, but to still keep that human touch. AI can do a lot and it's constantly evolving. And in my field, everything from creating a job description, creating the onboarding,
Hmm.
a whole training checklist, a 90-day performance evaluation, 1 year goals, annual performance evaluation, stay interviews, anything. I could go on and on. Raise, what's the annual raise? What should the annual raise be based on their resume, their performance score, their goals? You can use
Hmm.
AI for anything, but it should be a tool that you use to get the administrative side done more easily so that you can be more human. You can build those relationships. People could just talk to a computer all day, but that's really not why most of us are not here. We want to build those relationships for a long-term company where we want someone to grow and thrive, get promoted, and
Hmm.
really contribute.
Yeah, make an impact the right way, right? And that's huge. The human touch aspect it's a common I would say problem or so when it comes to how folks want to adopt AI. It's a commodity, right? So you kind of pick and choose exactly what's out there, what works for you, and a lot of even complaints, folks. Folks utilizing the AI interviewer. Some say that it's great to solve the problem of time and scalability, but on the flip side, there's folks that say that, well, you need that human touch to appropriately evaluate. Where do you stand on something like that?
Yes. Well, I think it's more the feeling. I feel like it's cold when it's just has someone looked at my resume? I put myself in their shoes. Are you just sending this to every single person who applied?
Mm,
Am I really a fit? I think that's more of the I really like this, and we want to learn more about that. Really, and then it's possible to do, but really make it customized to the person, explain the overall process. And if a company is going to use it once, I wouldn't use it a second time. For the second round, have
yeah.
it be a person, have them
Hmm.
give them feedback. Make sure it's not just one way. It really should be a two-way process.
Yeah, yeah. AI shouldn't be the end all be all. It should be, as a lot of people say, the tool, right, to help evaluate, if anything.
Yes.
But at least let the candidates know that, there's still going to be a human evaluating. It's not AI evaluating. I think that's huge too, is letting folks know, like, hey, AI is a data collector. Depending on how you use it, right? You use AI as a data collector, then, but there's an actual human. Don't worry, candidate. There's someone actually reviewing it and even looking at your video or whatever interview if you do it that way. Uh, Specifically with your business and AI, what are you doing right now, specifically in your business around AI?
Again, I use it for everything. I use it every day, whether it's a job description, creating interview questions,
Mm-hmm.
creating an
Yep.
onboarding checklist custom to that position.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to say, I find it the most valuable when I'm coaching different clients when there's any kind of emotion or possible bias included. So, for example, in recruiting, I might have a manager come to me and say, I just created a new position. Someone internal wants to apply, but I also want to consider external applicants.
Yeah.
And that's a great way to use AI.
Yeah.
Still conduct the interviews, ask everyone the same questions, and it doesn't have to be the be all end all that decides, but
Mm-hmm.
have it logically compare the answers.
Nice.
The same holds true for promotions, for raises. I have people say someone came in and gave us this data of why they need a raise. Can you do a market study and tell us if this is right? And I'll use AI. Sometimes a manager has feelings about them. Maybe they really like this person and want them to stay. Maybe they don't really like the person for any reason. But if I
Mm-hmm.
can get their resume, their performance evaluation scores,
Yeah.
things like that, and see what their salary is in their area, I can use AI and data points to make a more logical recommendation for them to
Right.
consider.
I use AI for a lot of research purposes, right? And leveraging AI to gather the right data as fast as possible to put it right in front of you so you can summarize internally better. I feel like it's definitely the proper use of it. Looking for some growth right now for yourself. And you also have a book as well.
Yes, yeah. I've been excited about AI, and I've also wanted to write. It's my second book. It's called The Next Wave of People Management. And it's about really just modern day workplace practices for everything for recruiting, onboarding, performance management, but
Hmm.
also things like building trust and the culture, like you talked about, building culture intentionally.
Hmm.
I just
Yep.
have so many ideas that I can share with people more quickly in writing. I have checklists, I have case studies, And I even have a before and after, an old way and new wave of doing things
Yeah.
where I compare things like a job description, an old way and a new way, performance
Nice.
evaluation, things like that to show, what didn't work in the past and what's a better way of doing it now. I find like a lot of managers just do things the way their managers did things.
Yep.
Not a lot of companies have formal management training
Hmm.
or even a forum for them to share ideas with each other. So
Hmm.
that's what I was hoping to convey in this book. But I also added an AI companion to every chapter that gives you 3 levels of AI support for each of the topics discussed. Something from basic prompts you could just copy and paste in to more elaborate ways that AI can help just make the people management job easier.
Nice, nice. And is this a piggyback on your first book? This is your second book. What's the first book?
No, yeah, the first one is more focused towards the employees, not the managers. It's
Okay.
called Don't Quit Your Day Job, Learn to Love It.
Yeah, okay. Nice.
Working in HR, you get a lot of employee complaints. And it was
Hmm.
sort of all the unofficial things I want to coach employees about
Yeah.
being more successful at work, communication, teamwork, how to approach their manager if they disagree or want something, things like that.
On the flip side of things, right? You got employee coaching essentially, right, to get them through. Then you got manager coaching on the operations piece, right,
I
to make
like
sure they
that.
apply it. And is this book already published on Amazon and
Yes.
stuff? Or
Yeah, it's available on
sweet.
Amazon now.
Awesome, awesome. I'll make sure that we put the link in the description too, so everyone can just check it out for sure. What are some challenges or road bumps you're running into right now within your business, and what have you done to try to solve it, or what are some potential solutions you're thinking about?
Yeah, I think for me, I work uniquely. There's one thing I say to all clients, all new clients. I only give advice. It's up to you if you take it. If you don't, I don't get hurt or emotional. And you can do whatever you choose. But if you do take my advice, you will need me less. So
Nice.
my goal really is to make my clients more independent. I don't just, I don't know, create a custom performance evaluation form. I want to see what's working for them, what doesn't work. I get in and train their managers, whether it's recruiting or doing a performance evaluation, something like that, communicating, handling employee grievances. And once I train them, they become more independent and they need me less and less. Some of
Hmm.
them grow and want a full-time on-site HR person. But
Hmm.
for me, I don't typically have the same clients or at least the same number of hours every year. I'm always looking for new clients.
Right.
I have several clients that call me when they need something.
Hmm.
Long-term clients, it's usually when it's something tricky. And then when I help solve it for them, for example, if they expand into a new state and an employee needs a leave of absence and they don't know the laws in that state, every state law is different about things like sick leave and
Hmm.
maternity leave and things like that. But I really help coach them and make them independent. And it's fulfilling for me. But on the flip side, I'm always looking for new clients.
Yeah.
And I'm not a salesperson. I'm
Right.
not, I'm more HR. I like HR and coaching. It's hard for me to sell myself.
Hmm.
So I think that's where a lot of people struggle,
Yeah.
small business owners like myself, that we know our field, but not the sales side. And we have to know when to bring in consultants or contractors to help us with those
Hmm.
tools. So
Right.
that would be my recommendation. I
Right.
actually recently brought someone on who's going to be doing some sales for me.
When it comes to like the core offer, do you also have you tapped into helping folks out globally? Like more so like how if they want to expand to international markets, but they're based in the US.
Yes, yes. I have done that. It's tricky because
Yeah.
I've deeply learned the Australia laws or the UK laws, but then it's temporary. Once I create the handbook for them, whatever they need, their offer letters, they're done. And then maybe once a year, they want me to update their policies. One thing I do find though is the state laws. It's companies that are growing in different states because it's not just the state laws that are different. It varies when the company grows. Once
Hmm.
you reach 25 employees, 50 employees,
Yep.
100,
Yep.
there's
Different
more laws that
HQs.
apply.
Yeah.
So that's actually an ongoing work, to
Yeah.
help people navigate. And it's really to make sure managers understand not to say no to someone. They don't have to memorize everything, but they just need to be aware that there are new rules constantly and to check, to either refer them to me, refer them to a good handbook,
Hmm.
and just don't get the company in trouble by automatically saying no if there's an employee request.
Awesome. Awesome. So out of like the clients that you've worked with and like your successes, where have you seen like the most, I would say, revenue generated? what has been more so that been like your breadwinner these last 4 years?
And recently now it is recruiting.
Okay,
So
nice.
recruiting has increased so much. I've hired a team of fractional recruiters that help me. And
Awesome.
part of it is that AI. A lot of people are using AI to create their resumes, and you
Yep.
know this, and to
Hmm.
apply to a lot of jobs.
Yep.
You can post a job now. I have the same clients I've had for years that they post the same remote job now that would have gotten 50 resumes 4 years
Hmm.
ago. They're getting 800
Yep.
resumes now.
Yep.
And a hiring manager, their salary cannot sit for 20 hours to review all those resumes.
Hmm.
They want to
Hmm.
hire a firm who's going to review it, shortlist it for them.
Yep.
And we do custom interview questions. We give 2 to 4 pages of notes.
Nice.
So,
Nice. Oh, that's great.
really delving into
Yeah.
it.
Not
And
just not just recruiting. It's just you're actually inserting yourself
yeah,
into the interview process as
yeah,
well. Which is
really
great.
delving deeply. One of the things we're finding is the AI is not truthful. I don't want to say
Oh
people
yeah.
aren't being truthful,
Hmm.
but they're using AI. It's making them sometimes sound bigger than they are.
Like
And I'll
superheroes.
ask,
Yeah.
tell me about a time, tell me about this. Oh, you handle 50 accounts right now? Tell
Right.
me about those 50. Oh, it says that? Oh, I don't handle 50. I handle five, whatever it is.
Yep. Yep.
So it is such a shame because it's really creating a lot of busy work.
Yeah. Yeah. Unnecessary busy work and a lot of frustrations, and you want those managers to be focused on the business, right? Versus just
Yeah.
sifting through resumes. So
And
that's
that's why they
great.
outsource. Outsourcing recruiting is becoming more and more popular now.
Yeah, which is
That's
interesting
hiring.
because I have 4 years of staffing and recruiting myself. So like when I say back in the day, it was really just like 5 years ago when it all started. Like right after COVID was more like, okay, now you got to worry about hiring remote folks, right? The right remote folks because everyone's getting applied left and right, right? But now it's even shifted because even your trades, right? Plumbing, electricians, mechanical engineers, their AI is so user friendly that they're tapping into that, because these aren't techies, right? These aren't tech
Mhm.
guys. Like even the folks in the trades are creating these superhero resumes. This is where I've seen also a shift to where companies are bringing on staffing and recruiting um, agencies for the mechanical engineering, for the trades aspect, because of the fact that now they're using like Indeed or whatever, they're getting a lot of unqualified candidates and they're being charged at the wazoo anyways for those folks. Why not just have someone bear the burden of dealing with these 500 plus applicants, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's
And it's
that's
not just
crazy.
the time to interview. A lot of people slip by the interviews. If you don't have the right questions,
Hmm.
they're slipping by, they're getting into the job, and people are realizing, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
there's
the,
also that human aspect, right? I mean, on the flip side, if you're the hiring manager, you've done already 30 to 100 interviews, even in a month, right? Interview a day, and it's like a long 1 hour interview. You get that fatigue, right? You're like, I just want to hire like the next person that comes in because I'm tired of all these interviews, right? You get that human error that happens into play too. So
yes. Yeah. And then they have to focus on the onboarding. Managing remote employees are even harder, making sure they understand what they're doing. I always say there's 2 facets to onboarding. There should be a checklist of what the company does, setting up the email, showing them things. There also, I believe, a self checklist for the employees so they know what they need to do. Have they reached out? Have they contacted the right people? Are they learning these things every week for their first 90 days?
mhm.
And it helps them to having some goals set for them helps them be more successful, and it
Yep.
helps the manager decide if they can really do the job.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. It's accountability, right? KPIs. It's the
Mhm.
typical lingo, right? Established companies like to float around. And do you also do SOPs as well for companies?
Yes, I like to start. I think the handbook is a baseline,
Yep.
and I say the
Hmm.
handbook are the policies, but if you want processes, that's the next step.
I
Like your
see.
handbook might have a progressive discipline policy, but
Hmm.
I like having a very clear process with even scripts for managers to help them out for, verbal warnings, written warnings. You want it to be consistent across the company of how things are handled, at what
Yeah.
level, and what people are told, and what expectations are.
Right.
So,
Right. Yeah. Just a clear roadmap. Right. That's been proven before. Right. It's what worked with multiple different industries and different levels. Right. Whether it's just like 10 man teams or 50 to 100. Right.
mhm.
So About to round out here. One final question. What would you say to your younger self? You can go back in time right now, right? To be, to give yourself some advice on getting to where you're at faster or whatever. What would that be? What would you say?
The interesting thing is, I think of this sometimes, and I wouldn't give my past self advice. I would say, thank you for taking the courage. There's a few paths in life. Like, do I need to go to school and get another graduate degree? I have a graduate degree. Is this worth my time? Someone like me, I agonize over decisions,
Hmm.
and that I might have said I quit my day job pretty quick when I went freelance, but I agonized over the decision, always wondering, was I doing the right thing? And I was really gambling on myself each time.
Hmm.
And if I went back, it might be a unique thing, but I'd say thank you. Thank you for your courage. And I hope I continue that courage moving forward.
That's
Between
awesome.
misty-eyed thinking about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's awesome. That's such a different take. This is the first time you've been hearing it that way, right? Instead of telling your younger self what to do, telling your younger self thank you of what you're about to do. I think that's
Yes.
huge. I'm getting chills actually saying that. Oftentimes I like to borrow my confidence from the future when it comes to making
Oh, sweet.
decisions, risky decisions, right? Business decisions, and that's always helped me since, right? And I think that's crucial, and that's just a takeaway of like how I kind of help myself stay motivated when it
Mhm.
comes to like the ups and downs of entrepreneurship. It's just borrow confidence from your future, which is exactly what you just mentioned if you were to go in the past. Awesome. Well, I'm gonna put all the links associated with like your websites, email, LinkedIn. What are the best ways for folks to connect with you?
Through my website. My website shows a little about me, my company, the services we provide, and also has links to book a meeting with me or to contact me via email. So that's ANOVAResources.com.
Awesome, awesome. Yep, folks, I'll put everything in the description, all the links there. And Carrie, thank you very much for the time. It was awesome catching back up in this conversation as well. Folks, see you next time. Take care.
Thank you. So great.